We have smartphones and smart watches. Do we need smart toilets? This is a new smart toilet from Bazyths, and check this out. You walk up and it opens up for you. How cool is that? Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you saw in this video, we are looking at a smart toilet by a company called Bazyths. Well, at least that's how I think it's pronounced. Anyway, enough talk. Let's get right into this review. I've said this before. I live in an episode of This Old House. This house was built in the 1800s, and yes, we are renovating. No, we are not looking to renovate the bathroom, but yes, I do want to replace this toilet that we call the squatty potty because it's extra short. So let's pop this up and put in a new one. After pulling up the toilet, we realized we wanted to replace the floor. So we've gotten the floor replaced enough right now to put the new toilet back in. So we're going to do that. And of course, we'll continue finishing the floor, but I'm really excited to set this in place. We are moments away from officially installing the toilet, and you won't be able to see back here. So I wanted to give you a quick look at this stuff. All right, so first we have our braided connection here. This is a 1/2-inch connection that's actually going to connect into the adapter that's provided that also tees off into the water line. This is probably for the bidet seat itself. These are also 1/2-inch connections. Also on the back, you're going to notice that we have our plug, and this is just around 4 feet long as far as the cord length. So you have to have a plug or an outlet within 4 feet of this toilet in order for you to utilize the electronic components. And of course, back here, we have a backup battery connection that we have to hook up just in case there's a power outage, things will still work. Installation of this toilet is completely different than any other toilet that I've ever installed. You do have a typical flange that you utilize, and we will put a wax ring on. Of course, we already have ours in the installed place. This is just the sample. But as you notice, there are these brackets that you screw right onto the flange. Once you get those tight, you'll actually have the toilet put in place. And see this little tiny hole through the side of the toilet? You're going to put this long screw through that until it connects in with one of these, and you tighten it down really, really tight. And that's how you hold the toilet to the ground. It does not have bolts that are going up and down. This one definitely screws in from the side. Once you have everything tightened up and the screws are in, there's also these caps to go on just to make it look like a finished installation. We have our anchoring clips in place, plus our new wax ring is installed. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to set the toilet on top of the wax ring, level it, and screw it in. Of course, here's what it looks like installed. We put the little gasket piece first, then the screw goes in all the way tight. I just used a hand tightening screwdriver, and now I'm going to put this cap right here on to finish off the look. Now that that's snapped into place, you have a really seamless, professional looking install. For my install, I still have to put a plug here, but right now I have the wire just hooked up to an extension cord. So I'm going to plug it in for the very first time. We can see everything boot up. You see our LED display. I also hear the water filling up into the tank. We've already checked for leaks. Everything is looking good. The first thing we want to talk about is the sensors right here on the smart toilet. So when you walk right up, the first thing you're going to notice is the top seat actually opens. If you want the bottom seat to open, you can actually utilize this little button on the side and do a quick tap, and there that one opens. Of course, when you're all finished, all you have to do is tap that button again, and both seats will close. And listen to this. The toilet also flushes automatically. Pretty cool. As you can see, we have an LED display on the back. It talks about that your water is active, your power. It shows the current temperature. Of course, this is in Celsius. That's the temperature of the seat, and then also the water. And then, of course, you have some other features like the censored seat and the fan. You actually have a pretty impressive remote control, and some of these features you actually have to be seated on the toilet in order for them to work, but some of them you don't. So if we want the seats to close, we have a seat close and open button right here. Of course, you also have buttons if you want to just, well, flush the toilet. You just push that, and away it goes. The cool thing with the flush, it also shoots some additional water that way to make sure your drain is completely cleared, and then it washes out the bowl entirely. You may or may not like that light that's on in there, and if you like it, great. If not, you just push this button right here, and it turns the light completely off. You're going to notice 2 spots right here. This is a spot which would be your typical bidet washing, and this one's actually kind of neat too because it's also a hot air dryer, and I thought that was pretty cool as well. So tell me, what are your thoughts of this smart toilet? Something you would use? Not so much? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Here we're going to show you the bidet setting. Now, there is an important thing to note that If you do not have any weight on the toilet itself, you can't use the bidet feature, and that's just a safety precaution so no one accidentally floods your house. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some pressure right here on the seat. Of course, the seat knows I'm there, so it automatically did a flush. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna click the bidet button. Now there is what they call a hip cleaning, and there's also a feminine cleaning. Right here is the hip cleaning. As you notice, the nozzle just popped up. I do have the weight right here, and of course now it's just spraying right there. There are a couple different modes that you can toy around with, but it is pretty cool. As soon as I lift up, the toilet is going to recognize, oh, the person's gone, and immediately stop the unit. All that was with heated water. Now that all is said and done, all the washing is done, there's also a drying feature, and if you just see right here, this little flapper kicked up, and now it's blowing out warm air to dry everything off. Although the smart toilet utilizes a remote control for use, you do also have buttons right on the toilet itself. Of course, the farthest button to the right is just a typical bidet, as they call it, the hip cleaning. The one in the middle is how you would flush, and of course the one on the left would be your feminine cleaning, utilizing the bidet feature as well. Conveniently, if you lose your remote or your remote control runs out of battery power, you still have access to all the features. In this video, we are looking at a smart toilet from Bazyths. So what do we think of it? First things first, if you look at that price point, as per this video, it retails for right around $650. I do think they have a coupon from time to time, which brings it down to $600, totaling the most expensive toilet that I have in my house. If you looked at the install, it was actually pretty quick and easy to install, and although some of the parts that came with the unit I didn't end up using because my attachments just happened to work, I appreciated that the company was forward thinking, providing you all of the connections that you would need for a seamless install. I should say, however, typical connections is a 3/8 connection. I kind of wish that's what it came with, because that's what most people have, and if it came with a 3/8 connection, you wouldn't really need to swap out the shutoff valve. Speaking of the shutoff valve, I should say that it is a quarter turn shutoff valve. That is really convenient. Also, I tested this out on PEX and copper. I was able to fit this in on a PEX 1/2-inch line, but it would not fit on the copper line. Now, I'm not using this, as I said in my own video, because I already have a setup that would work, but just let you know about their shutoff valve. I am appreciative that they came with their very own escutcheon, so you can hide any holes that might be in the wall. I actually like the design of it, and you have that like tankless look. Although it does have an internal tank, you don't actually see it when you're looking at the toilet itself. I do know that the look is up to individuals' personal taste. I think it's kind of cool, but I have heard others say it looks just like a spaceship, and I can see what they're saying. I do like all the features that are included. There's only one thing I really wish it had, and although it did come with that battery pack, I kind of wish it had an option when the power is out that you can actually use a physical lever or button that would utilize the system instead of having to rely on that expensive battery pack. I do think, however, it's convenient that if you don't have the batteries to fill it up, you just reach out to the company and they're going to send you some batteries for free. If you're in the market for a smart toilet, I do think that this one competes with the more expensive unit, and it has a lot to offer. Not to mention the heated seat and heated water. Wow, that is extra convenient. Anyway, that was my entire review of the smart toilet. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. I want to talk a little bit about the remote control. First and foremost, there's this little holder that comes with almost like a 3M sticker. You put this right on the back, and it's a nice place to hold your remote control so you never lose it. Looking at the remote itself, this is the brains of the operation. Although there is some buttons on the side of the toilet itself, this is how you'll operate most things. You can see you can increase or decrease the water pressure. You can move the spray of the nozzle. You can turn on and off the light. You can also open and close your seat, change some of the temperatures. There's self-cleaning, there's bubble cleaning. There's also a way to activate the drying feature. Continuing on, we see a flush. Then of course there's the 2 different bidet settings. And of course, if you're just running things, you don't want to have it on anymore, you just turn it off. Lastly, I want to talk about some of the measurements that I found important. First and foremost, this fits a standard sewer line that's 12 inches on center, so just make sure you are there. If you have an older home that may not be 12 inches, that would have to be adjusted before the install. We said at the beginning that my old toilet was a squatty potty. Well, this one sits 16.5 inches off the ground, and that is inclusive of the actual seat. Also, from the wall all the way out to the tip is 29 inches, and if you see the very top of that lid there, that reaches 39 inches. And that's important just in case you are looking for a behind the toilet stand. You want to make sure that this has enough clearance. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of this smart toilet. You know what though? That original toilet that I had in this video had my Lux bidet installed on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna link up that review right over here, and I would love it if you would check on that link. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm gonna join you right here. So go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.